Yes, it's Sunday, the 21st of January 2018. Michael Jordan Komwa is my name. With Elizabeth Nakakoni, we're here for news tonight. Welcome aboard. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, in her first story, has said that the National Resistance Movement is a party that looks at politics as a contest of ideas. The president made the remarks at a ceremony hosted by the Usuk Member of Parliament, Honorable Peter Ogwang.
Was hosted by the Usuk County Member of Parliament, Honorable Peter Ogwang, to hand over the pledges the Member of Parliament promised his constituents during the parliamentary campaigns. The Member of Parliament handed over a tractor to the Usuk women groups, an ambulance to the constituency, and 110 bicycles to all LC1 chairpersons in the district and mobilizers. The president also attended the groundbreaking ceremony for St. Stephen's Catholic Mission in Katanga Cell, Katakwi Town Council. According to the head of the mission, Father Remy Nyengere, the construction is expected to cost 1.5 billion Uganda shillings. En route, Priscilla Comprehensive Girls Secondary School in Angobo village, which was handed over to the government, the president made a stopover along Katakwi Moroto Road, where he interacted with a group of young girls. At the same ceremony, President Museveni was introduced to Anyait Janet Mercy, who was found in 2001 suckling her mother's breast after her mother had been killed by cattle rustlers. Anyait is currently in Senior 4 at Halcon High School in Soroti District. The O-level school has a total of 267 students. According to the deputy head teacher, Mr. Ichida Emmanuel, handing over the school to government will help to address the high rate of school dropouts in the district. In his speech, President Museveni said that the National Resistance Movement is a party that looks at politics as a contest of ideas.
For us, we said, please, for us, we are not God. We are not Asuban, we are just ordinary people. We can only do what the human strength can manage. But the principle is, again, step by step, we shall reach. But there is a difference between development and wealth.
He said that even when fighting Idi Amin, some people supported the idea of assassinating him and others opposed it. In the end, those against killing him won. On the issue of the Karimojong disarmament, the president said that there were people like David Pulko and Western NGOs who opposed the move, saying that the Karimojong should only be disarmed if the Turkana in Kenya, the Morana in Ethiopia, the Topath in Sudan, and the Pokot, because it would make them weak against their enemies when they invaded.
Vote, if you had voted badly in 2001, or 2006, and voted for the Purkors, for the Arasos, for the Messages, I don't know what the situation would be. So I congratulate you for voting wisely, and now you have peace here.
However, the government insisted and successfully disarmed the Karimojong. On his part, the host, the MP Ogwang, thanked the president for restoring peace in the region.
This community here is a community which accepts leaders as ones, and our people of Katapi have accepted you. Your Excellency, the peace, that achievement of peace, for me, it is the greatest, and that is the reason why our people support NRM.
UBC TV, Harriet Nambi.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has contributed 20 million shillings to the Savings and Credit Cooperative Organization of Women in Toroma County, Katakwi District, Teso Sub-Region. The president's donation was made during the victory Thanksgiving ceremony for the Katakwi District NRM Woman Member of Parliament, Honorable Akrut Violet. The ceremony took place yesterday at Toroma Boys Primary School playgrounds. Museveni also used the occasion to assure residents of the area that he will work with the Uganda Wildlife Authority and other stakeholders to see to it that issues pertaining to the eviction of people from Asinga land would be resolved. We have details to this as well.
Blessed Virgin Mary willed in his great kindness to redeem the human race, be pleased to enrich you with his blessing. Have devotedly gathered on this day, carry away with you the gifts of spiritual joys and heavenly rewards. Amen. And may the blessing of Almighty God, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit come down upon you and upon you remain now and forever. Amen.
The president also attended the Thanksgiving ceremony for the Katakwi District NRM Woman Member of Parliament, Honorable Akrut Violet. The ceremony took place at Toroma Boys Primary School grounds. In his speech, the president assured residents of the area that he will work with the Uganda Wildlife Authority and other stakeholders to see to it that issues pertaining to the eviction of people from Asinga land would be resolved.
Let us use the piece now, the three words. Aipuch, apple, and we add a bar. So that our homes are rich. Then the fourth word is health. The health centers we are talking about are for health. Health is very important for you.
He urged the people to fully appreciate the need to create wealth for themselves by embracing the 4-acre model of production. The president also contributed 20 million Uganda shillings to the Savings and Credit Cooperative Organization, SACCO, of Women in Toroma County, Katakwi District of Teso Sub-Region. On her part, Katakwi District Woman Member of Parliament, Honorable Violet Akrut, thanked her constituents and the president for standing by her during the campaigns and also when she was taken to court.
Your Excellency, in June 2012, you appointed me as a member of the Uganda Human Rights Commission. However, the people of Katakwi felt they needed my services as their representative or spokesperson in Parliament and requested me to contest, which call I did not object to.
She commended the president for coming to the rescue of Katakwi District when it was hit by drought and famine. UBC TV, Harriet Nambi.
Speaker of Parliament Rebecca Litwala Kadaga has challenged people of Busoga sub-region to desist from lamentations and embrace development for economic progress. This, she said, with reference to the current woes surrounding Busoga University disclosing a possible intervention by the president. She was speaking during the burial of Honorable Ruth Owagage, the former woman member of Parliament for Jinja District in the 6th Parliament. Kadaga praised her for the efforts towards the development of Busoga sub-region. This was before she officiated at 2 graduation ceremonies where she challenged residents to embrace education.
Okwogera kujja maiso tulina aboogezi 15 abasigaye.
Of the national budget, other than relying on donor funds. Honorable Wagage served with such distinction and devoted the prime years of her life to the service of Uganda. ejja kusitaya gavumenti neyina musagali dibe ibiri tube ni university ibiri eza gavumenti mu district yaffe y'Ekano. So sengo yo mpera tabera likiriza mweleza abana.
In more news, the Uganda insurance players have decried the slow penetration of insurance and called for increased government support on the matter. According to Alan Mafabi, the Chief Executive Officer, Britam Insurance, at less than 1%, Uganda has the lowest insurance penetration in the East African region. Enhancement of the local content and protection of local investors from unfair competition will be critical in boosting insurance penetration, as urged by Mafabi, who doubles as the Vice Chairman of the Uganda Insurers Association. Dennis Sigoa has it all.
With more taxes targeting the insurance sector introduced by government annually and statistics by Uganda Bureau of Statistics showing an increase of poverty levels, the insurance industry players are worried of dire consequences.
Whenever there's poverty in the country increases, natural insurance is one of the sectors that suffers. So we indeed are going to have a hit. Having said that, we're also aware that the government is investing heavily in infrastructure, okay, and investing apart from that oil and gas sector. So whilst the direct covers for the individual clients will continue going down, at least we want to believe, to remain positive, okay, that the growth, the investment in the infrastructure sector, oil and gas, and the financial services will hopefully drive our growth. But that's not our wish, because we want everyone insured.
Alan Mafabi, who is also the Vice Chairperson of the Association of Insurers in Uganda, highlights some of the key areas in the sector that calls for government intervention and collaboration with the local players.
Workers' compensation. We're saying government, telling government, please enforce this law, because all of us are workers. In case of any injuries, we want people protected. The other areas is, of course, I mentioned already, the insurance law. Amongst them, the introduction of cash and carry. Incidentally, this is happening in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Rwanda. It's only Uganda, and I think it's in South Sudan. It's only Uganda where premiums for insurance are paid after 30 days, 60, 90 days, sometimes even longer. And that affects the solvency of some players and the capacity to settle claims timely.
He singles out the nascent oil and gas sector as one of the new developments with huge prospects for the sector players. However, there are concerns that without proper regulations and enforcement, Uganda's insurance companies will be left out.
Oil and gas currently, as an industry, we are not happy because insurance is not gazetted and the local content, or if it is, most of the companies involved in the sector are actually buying insurance outside the country. We are, again, like I said on marine, exporting jobs and taking away income that would ideally be invested here, taxes, employment, and other things.
Uganda's GDP is expected to grow at 5.5% in the year ending June 2018, boosted by higher oil sector investments and lower borrowing costs. Dennis Sigoa for UBC Business.
Away from insurance, Uganda relies on imports to meet the high demand for vegetable cooking oil in the country despite high production. Recent data indicates that Uganda consumes 120,000 metric tons against a production capacity of only 40,000 annually, which underscores the need to improve on the production. State Minister for Trade, Michael Werike, emphasizes this. This was during the launch of purified virgin gold cooking oil, a product of Ngeta Holdings in northern Uganda.
About 40,000 metric tons of edible cooking oil is produced in Uganda against the total demand of 120,000 metric tons. It is for this reason that Uganda relies heavily on imports, estimated at 8,000 metric tons, mainly from Malaysia and Indonesia.
Because we don't process stuff. We keep on selling grains and all this. So if only we can work with the farmers in northern Uganda, we should be able to meet those gaps.
Poor seed quality, insufficient raw materials, High operational costs and uncontrolled markets are cited as some of the hindrances. High production costs due to irregular power supplies, poor packaging, limited funding for research, limited refineries and volatile fees and dollar rates render the industry incapacitated. State Minister for Trade Michael Werike responds to some of the challenges of sunflower production.
My ministry is promoting value addition through addressing the challenges encountered in product value chains. This is being undertaken through the implementation of rural industrial development projects.
The presence of Ngeta Holdings in northern Uganda encourages farmers to produce for the local industry.
What we are proposing is that by working with government and government departments, especially VODP and others that are focusing on the oilseed sector, is for us to support the farmers of the Greater North. That means starting from the whole of Mbale through Karamoja, Lango, Acholi and West Nile regions, for them to specifically grow sunflower and other oilseed crops.
In many African countries and in northern Uganda, cooperatives have generally become simply community collection of producers, but they have never approached their work as a commercial entity. It is a problem that you will recognize nearly everywhere in East Africa, and northern Uganda is no exception.
And that, I believe, if we can do it consistently and do it well within the next 3 to 5 years, this country will be self-sufficient in cooking oil, and then we would save the dollars that we've been using for importing these oils for other purposes.
So we see strengthening them to become business entities as a first step to making them become good suppliers to processors like Ngeta Tropical.
With 1 billion shillings already secured from Microfinance Center, the future of sunflower oil production could be bright, especially with farmers' interests already prioritized.
Time for pity, self-pity is over. Time for sympathy is over. We have vast, rich soils in northern Uganda. We have very energetic people with great potential. And we have been through the principle of public-private and producers partnership. We've been able to establish something great. And now we have produced a product, which now we invite you, our fellow countrymen and women, to patronize.
In 2014, the world's production of sunflower oil stood at 16 million tons, with Ukraine, Russia and Argentina taking the lead.
Sunflower is regarded as a high-value, environmentally friendly export crop whose production is being promoted within the framework of the Plan for Modernization of Agriculture to alleviate poverty, as you heard, especially in areas that were adversely affected by the coffee wheel and even the conflict actually in the north, as you heard.
The launch of purified virgin gold cooking oil, a product of sunflower, is seen as a step towards economic empowerment of farmers in northern Uganda. Ugandans are being encouraged to embrace the product as part of promoting the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy launched in 2017.
Let's see what we produce, and this will entice buyers to consume it.
Henry Okurut, UBC.
Makerere University has applauded the proprietors of the MasterCard Foundation for the support towards disadvantaged students. The chairperson, Makerere University Council, Engineer Dr. Charles Wana Etienne, says that it has done a lot to improve different societies, especially in remote areas of Uganda.
The MasterCard Foundation program is uniquely designed to provide the scholars with holistic support, including academic curricula that is relevant to growth sectors on the African continent. At least 28 scholars have graduated at Makerere University as the first beneficiaries of the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program. Engineer Dr. Charles Wanaitian has praised the proprietors of the program and urged the beneficiaries to utilize the knowledge acquired to change lives of the people in the society as they are the ambassadors.
Somebody walks in naive, 2-3 years afterward, it's the opposite. So if you're given opportunity and you use the opportunity well, it changes your life forever.
The program coordinator at Makerere University, Professor Florence Nakayo, says the commitment of 1,000 scholars in 10 years is open to everyone with qualification, and the proprietors are ready to provide everything that might be required during the course.
On the program right now we have 512, and these scholars have to be 80% will be ultimately 80% girls, 20% boys.
University officials called upon the scholars to reflect the knowledge acquired to improve lives.
Help us educate the disadvantaged girl child, especially those from the war-ravaged areas in Uganda.
Scholars and parents give testimonies and express their gratitude to the proprietors of the program plus the university management.
For the mentoring you did, for each and everything that you did. When you went astray, you corrected us like parents.
Makerere University entered a partnership with Mastercard Foundation to support 1,000 academically bright but economically disadvantaged youth in Africa to access undergraduate education from 2013 to 2024. This story was compiled by Abdul Nasir Obama for UBC News.
News tonight. Welcome back from that very short break. Government is set to boost fish production that will help to improve on nutrition, mainly among children, and enhancing youth employment across the whole country. Minister of Agriculture Vincent Wambulanga Chisempija disclosed that government is in the process of purchasing fishing pond excavators for fish farmers early this year. This comes after phasing out of the African Solidarity Trust Fund project that African donor states and FAO Uganda have been implementing in 8 districts of northern and northeastern Uganda.
Lira district is among the 8 districts in northern and northeastern Uganda that have highly benefited from African Solidarity Trust Fund project, which is equivalent to $1,068,000. The project is supported by African donor states, Angola and Equatorial Guinea, and it's being implemented by Food and Agricultural Organization Uganda in collaboration with Government of Uganda since 2014.
This was really a big, I could say, achievement for FAO to be entrusted with such a fund, because we've been talking about food security for a long time in Africa, and these people came up to say, well, look, we are putting this thing forward now, and as we speak in some quarters they are putting their money where their mouth is to try to create jobs for young people. That is a major, any country you go in Africa now, this is a concern, it's a priority.
Now, here in Lira, apart from capacity building, the main focus is how to make sure we improve or we empower the youth. And what you have seen here, starting from Harmony, that is fish pond. I think you've done a lot in terms of capacity building to the people. And you see young people ready to work, they are trying to improve their skills to help each other.
Joshua Ogwok is a youth from Amani village in Lira district who has benefited from African Solidarity Trust Fund project as a result of being imparted with fish farming skills.
Through this farm, now I am self-reliant, though not all that stable, but I can get money which can help me sustain me. I can get some little money out of the things I'm doing which can help me push our family as well. Which can help me help my brother at school as well.
The country representative of FAO Uganda, Alhaj Jallo, advised fish farmers to be transparent in the allocation of additional $3,000 which were donated by African donors during the project oversight.
Work hard, sweat.
the results come or benefits come from working hard. If you ask some of us here where we started, you'll be surprised. So always focus on it and work hard. Things will find you there. That's what I think I should tell you people as young people.
Meanwhile, the African Solidarity Trust Fund project will be ending in December this year, and that may cause worries to its beneficiaries. The Minister of Agriculture, Vincent Sempija, thanked the African state donors for their timely intervention and assured the fish farmers that government is in the process of purchasing fish pond excavators to boost fish production in the country.
The machines are on the way. In this budget, we have a number of machines, maybe about 5 big machines, including excavators, bulldozers. But we also have some money for fish farming, and it's likely that the government also will avail more money to that.
This story was compiled by Joseph Okow for UBC News.
Meanwhile, Kasese district leaders have resolved to improve the health and education facilities in areas occupied by cattle herders and fish folks. This is after a baseline study by Kabarole Resources and Research Center's Voices indicated that high school dropout rates, absenteeism and child marriages are as a result of lack or insufficient health and education facilities in the district.
In the cattle keeping communities, they are not very many. They are not densely populated.
A number of cattle keepers appear wealthy people because of their herds of cattle, but in most cases do worse things than the poor. In Kasese district, the richest communities are the cattle keepers, but their children are not sent to school.
We have realized that there are even teenage pregnancies, because most of the results just released of PLOE shows that some who missed PLOE exams are those who were pregnant and could not come. In some cattle keeping communities, we are thinking that on our mobilization team, or whenever we go to these areas, at least we move with role models.
They force their teen daughters into marriage and prefer traditional healers for any treatment.
And should services not be good, definitely we are the same people who suffer. Therefore, it is the reason I would call upon everyone that should you find someone you know that this is a health officer, bother to ask him why he's not at his station. Humbly, not in a rude manner.
In most cases, cattle keepers turn their children into herders, while their daughters are married off early in exchange of cattle as dowry. Lake Katre, Nyakatonzi, and Mohocha are the sub-counties dominated by livestock keepers.
We call upon the stakeholders to also come to our aid, to tell us where we are doing well, where we are not doing well, and we come up with collective effort on how we can rectify the situation.
The study indicates that culture and the rugged nature of the district is affecting access to schools and health service provision, a demotivating factor to youth and women in the area.
In pet trading, like selling buvera or accompanying their parents to go to market to sell pancakes. Children are being engaged in the pastoral areas in looking after cattle on school days. They have no time to concentrate on school chores, but they have more time to concentrate on the domestic chores.
At least 76.6% of the respondents confessed to have been abused at health centers or on their way to school in a number of ways. These were some of the research findings by Voices of KRC Uganda, a research advocacy and development organization operating in the Rwenzori sub-region.
There are things which the districts are not doing. The policy is very clear. For instance, every parish is supposed to have a health facility, every sub-county is supposed to have a health facility, every parish is supposed to have a school, every sub-county is supposed to have a school. So you find a number of parishes do not have these facilities, but also those which have are not functioning very well. That's because of weak monitoring systems which we are trying to stimulate by working together with the leaders.
Kasese leaders learned that in most cases, children are not motivated to attend school because the facilities are far apart, while patients do not go to health centers because of poor services and long distances.
Where we don't have staff houses, of course they are being affected by long travels, long distances. But even where we have staff houses, the teachers have not even occupied these staff houses, and that's not good. And much as I can help, I helped in ensuring there is a staff house, but then at a daily basis, I'm not going to be very useful in ensuring that the staff houses are being occupied.
Kasese district is one of the richest districts in Uganda, with a lot of mineral wealth, 2 national parks, several lakes with a lot of fish, and fertile soils for agriculture. The study findings dissemination was held in Kasese municipality and attracted the area leaders and officials from Kabarore Resources and Research Center, Uganda.
It's going to be the first in Kasese, and we are trying to look at what is the kind of evidence at baseline level. Where are we? What are those concerns? And then in the subsequent breakfast meetings and other follow-up meetings, we are going to be getting the people themselves to come and talk to us. And
Amplifying the voices of women and youth for effective delivery of quality health and education services project was launched in Kasese district in 2017.
So this project was a build-up to expand the spaces. So the spaces, these programs are continuing to happen in these areas. So we wanted to also add on another side to expand to other sub-counties, and that is
Samuel Garandi and Abimana Deu, UBC News.
Christians of Mengo Archdeaconry have gathered at St. Luke's Church, Chibuye, for a Thanksgiving service to mark 2 years since the construction of a new sanctuary was started. Minister for Kampala Betty Kamya was among the many believers that gathered at the ceremony and contributed 10 million shillings towards the church project.
The Minister for Kampala, Betty Kamya, has thanked St. Luke's Church Chibuye Christians for putting up a new church through their own contributions. This was at an event marking the 2nd year since the construction of St. Luke's Church Chibuye construction works started. Kamya, who contributed 10 million shillings, represented President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
People have come to realize that gone are the days when we had to rely on foreign missionaries to initiate projects for us. This fundraising is, therefore, a sign of maturity for our independence. I applaud the existing partnership between the church and the state. You have been our partners over the past years to make steady progress, and you should continue to do so in our country's journey to middle income status.
The guest preacher was retired Bishop Central Buganda Diocese, Right Reverend Jackson Matovu, who urged the believers to continue in the spirit of giving and also pray for the construction work's success.
Because there is faith. With the faith, everything is possible. Let us pray. Let us intercede to God. We fast. The Lord can do everything. It doesn't necessarily mean that somebody has to be with a lot of money.
Venerable John Guitar commended KCCA for the technical advice towards the construction. technical staff okulaba nga tugenda mu maaso. Ekyo tetuyinza kukibuusa maaso emirundi gyonna aba KCCA okuva lwe twatandika ne wano we tutuuse. he disclosed that the names of those who have contributed are to be printed in their church book. Nanziri Beatrice, UBC News.
Yes, in more news, the chairman of the Private Sector Foundation Uganda, Patrick Vitature, has urged investors in the hospitality industry to take advantage of Uganda's political stability to grow their businesses. According to him, the current stability is conducive for business growth across all sectors, and hotels come in handy to house tourists.
The year 2017 witnessed the rapid growth of Uganda's leisure and hospitality industry, with an addition of at least 4 new luxury hotels within 3 to 5-star rankings. The new entrants, Pearl of Africa Hotel, Golden Tulip, Mestil and Naguru Sky Hotel, added to the country's high-end bed capacity, reaching 760. Barely a month into 2018, another vital player, K Hotels in Entebbe, has joined the market with close to 50 bed capacity, a swimming pool, conference halls and gyms.
This is a homegrown brand, it's a Ugandan brand. It's something that has its roots in Uganda. And yes, we are looking to expand into other areas, into other hotels. The only thing that we felt Uganda was lacking was a level of service that was set, and that's the only thing we're trying to bring. So if tourists want to enjoy a leisure stay here, they're more than welcome to experience the K Hotels.
Puneet Shah, the managing director of K Hotel Entebbe, says Uganda's booming tourism potential and political stability attracted him to invest in the hotels sector.
We've got our own 2 shuttles that will be shuttling between the airports and taking our guests to and from. So that the guests again come back to a wrinkle-free experience when they come in through those doors.
It is the same political stability that the chairman of Private Sector Foundation Uganda, Patrick Vitature, wants investors to tap into and spur Uganda's economy to growth.
I want to assure you your businesses are safe here. The environment in Uganda, the political stability we have, we should not take it for granted. Let's protect it. What everybody wants here now is to make money, to create jobs, to create wealth, and we all share. That's how we lift our country.
Samuel Garandi, UBC News.
20 pastors of the Pentecostal Church have been ordained in Kampala during a function carried out by the director of the Abundant Life World Bible Institute, Pastor Patrick Musoke. Musoke said that unskilled preachers are not good for the growth of the church.
The national umbrella of National Fellowship of Born-Again Pentecostal Churches recently disowned a team of fellow pastors, referring to them as false preachers and cults. Bishop Patrick Musoke, the director of Abundant Life World Bible Institute of Uganda, says a number of false teachers of the gospel are contradicting biblical doctrines due to poor training.
Is one of the dangers that some of these pastors and ministers may find themselves contradicting themselves because of the lack of thorough understanding of the scriptures. And they can also easily fall victim of the trap of the devil.
He was ordaining 20 church leaders at Christianity Focus Church in Nabingo.
We have decided as a Bible Institute to go and reach out to pastors to where they meet for fellowship in their fraternities and extend services to where they are.
After ordination, the preachers were given the Jimmy Swaggart Popular Expositors Study Bibles to go out and evangelize the gospel of Christ. Many of these church leaders and preachers gave their comments on the dangers of false teachers.
False prophets and fake preachers, or what would you say, self-styled preachers and undisciplined preachers. That is a problem, but it's our prayer that people can come back to the basics of the Bible.
The word of God is right, the word of God is truth, and it is reliable.
While speaking at the 19th National Prayer Breakfast at Hotel Africana recently, President Yoweri Museveni warned Ugandans against false prophets. Douglas Setumba for UBC News.
And in the world of sport, Uganda Swimming Federation is leaving no stone unturned ahead of the new season that starts soon. To set the ball rolling, a half-day swimming coaches workshop has been organized and was attended at the Uganda Olympics Committee headquarters in Lugogo.
Swimming in Uganda is nowadays embraced by many, though most, as a leisure activity. But if Uganda is to have any chance of winning a medal at international level like the Olympics, quality of its technical staff needs improvement. This is the underlying reason Uganda Swimming Federation has organized the half-day coaches refresher course at Uganda Olympic Committee head offices in Kampala. Uganda Swimming Federation President Adon Rukare explains details.
Through this conference, we're able to discuss a number of issues that we believe are of interest to coaches. For example, our calendar, the sports structure and institutional framework, the long-term athlete development plan, how to manage and run clubs. So we thought that this would be a good opportunity to discuss some of these topical areas which coaches, I believe, have found very useful, and they'll be able to go back to their clubs and run them better and also prepare their swimmers in a more effective manner.
The refresher course attracted close to 40 coaches that were also taken through guidelines to be followed during the upcoming season.
The principle behind bringing on board new regulations is that it's always dangerous to rush them. So it's safer to go slow to make sure that they trickle down to as many stakeholders as possible. But to quickly rush to put them in place, it would obviously cause challenges with implementation.
George Mukasa is one of the participants, and he reveals relevance of the tutorship.
It has been a wake-up call, a reminder, and also a standardization kind of training that is supposed to help all the coaches in Uganda to have the code of conduct and ethics, at the same time planning for long-term athletic training, which is good for programming, planning, so that those who are swimming and those who are not yet swimming can know what do we look for in swimming, what are the plans, how do we manage those plans, and how do we manage the results and performance at the end of the day.
The coaches were taken through a number of issues, notably basic swimming guidelines and ethical conduct expected of them. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
With that, we conclude news tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Michael Jordan Lukumwa is my name. With Elizabeth Nakakoni and the whole team here, we wish you the best of the night and the week we start tomorrow. Bye-bye.